back to Bikes, Boats and Bits. Fairly short one tonight. What we're going to do is we've got a cylinder head to strip out, clean the valves up, grind them in, new valve stem seals. While I'm doing that, the cameraman here is going to be stripping the carbs and giving them a good clean up. So we are ready for this coming weekend to get the head back on, bolted down. We've got new dowels for it now, so we're all set to go. So we're just going to get this part of it done. We might as well, we've got the bits and we know it's right then. So we'll crack on.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going for that one again.
Right, the very first job we've got to do is just give those a tap, which helps free off the collets. So we've got the valve spring compressor here, so I'll show you how that works in a second. Right, so this is how the valve spring compressor works. Sits over top of the valve head there, and if we just turn it, we've got the slot there to get through to hook the collets out. Once the collets are out, we ease it off, spring and everything comes away, and just push the valve out. Right, it's the true style. The actual tool doesn't fit the head properly at all, so we can't get any of the valves out, which is a pain in the arse. I don't have time to try and find another valve spring compressor that does fit it, so it's going to have to go as is. It wasn't smoking before, so
We put some plugs in, turn it upside down, and put some antifreeze in the pots. If it don't leak through, then that's still sealing. Antifreeze will find any hole on a valve.
yeah, do you know what? If I can't do it properly, I ain't going to do it. So, on that note, it's just the carbs.
Yeah, which I've got one apart. Good evening or afternoon, wherever you are. We've got the bottom off of this carb. That hole there is where the pilot jet come out. That hole there is where the main jet comes out. That other brass one is the emulsifying tube, which we've had out and cleaned, that the needle goes up and down. You have to clean it because it's got tiny holes in the side to help the fuel come up. The float bowl is working fine, there's no punches or anything else. It's sealing off with the little valve on the top when you push. So we should, on that one, be good to go. I'm just going to check the jet sizes before we put it back together to make sure we've got the right ones in.
Right, so what we have is we've now cleaned these out and the secondary running jets which are there. We've had a look at the slow running jets which are here. This one was blocked, we've just had to use a piece of wire to poke it through. We're just going to do the same with this one just to make sure there's no...
That's sealing alright when the floats are up as well.
Yeah.
I will check the line of fuel between that carb and that one because it feeds in that side. And I'm not overly happy that it's flowing through properly, to be honest. I can see now the sun has gone in. My eyesight's terrible in the fucking town. Yeah, that's alright.
Yeah, cool. Right, yeah. So all we're going to do now is just squirt some carb cleaner through it, and should be able to see it run off hands here.
You ready? See anything coming out?
No.
No? It's coming out there, alright. I'll let this one.
I think it'll stick the nozzle right in it, mate. I don't see anything at all this time. Ah, yeah, I see that running down the back of the butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, so we've just squirted carb cleaner down. You can just see it running down the back of the butterfly, so we now know both of those are nice and clear. Have we had the emulsion tubes up?
Yeah, I've had them out and cleaned, put back.
Cool.
I did show that earlier. I'm a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bottom of these can go back together. then we'll have a quick look. Okay, so as you can see, the head's now on, camera's in, and the rocker shafts are in place, ready to take the bolts. There's a tab on the cam chain tensioner that you've got to push upwards to get the adjustment right back, then lock it off on the tensioner bolt there, which is what we've done. This has allowed us to get the chain on. The timing marks are on the marks, which is the gasket face. So you've got a, I don't know if you can quite see it in there. Let me find a torch. He said, but basically there's two lines on this cam sprocket. Just excuse where the camera's pointing. I'm just trying to. Right. Now, I don't know how well you can see down there. Probably not very well, but round about there, there is a line on 180 degrees opposite it. Those are your timing marks. Come on, turn off. Right, so there's a line where I just showed you, and there's 180 degrees opposite, so it's this side. They line up with the gasket face as much as you can, bearing in mind it's going to be a one cam chain, etc. That gets that in place, so that's where that is now. So the next job is to get the head bolts in and start getting the head pulled down. So we've got two bolts that have a rubber kind of boot on them and a copper gasket. One is longer than the other. So that's those two. Short one goes to the front. Probably be a bit fiddly to get it in, just for a change. That's because it goes through there, of course it does. I forgot this is one of the ones where Honda actually thought about this stuff. Right, so he goes down there like so. There. So he sits down there like so. Right, next one is the longer one of the two, which is this one goes to the back. So he goes down that hole. Let's work him down. These were actually in the wrong, one of these was in the wrong place, which apparently leads to exactly what we have had. Now, that's engaged in the threads here, something's not looking right, so maybe it's a long one to go at the front, because that don't look right. Okay, so we've got the bolts in, loosely knit down. Number one here is on top TDC. Well, they're both on top dead center because it's a horizontal twin. Obviously, number two cylinder is on the rocks. Number one cylinder is on compression. So we've got a little bit of gap there, not enough I might hasten to add. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn the motor over. As you can see, we're on top dead center. So I'm going to go around 720 degrees so we get back to this cam position, but I just want to make sure everything turns over nicely, because what we don't want, I should find a socket to do this, what we don't want to happen is to lock the motor up and carry on blindly without knowing. So we need to know everything is as it should be. Right, so yes, we've got compression there. Those appear to be moving as they should. So we've gone round one revolution, we're now coming around on the second. As you can see, these valves are now coming back up. So next set of timing marks, there's the advance. And there's top dead center. Okay, so everything's gone round lovely. And you've still got a valve gap there. So that's that part of the equation. I think next thing I'm going to do is put the top bolt in for the cam chain tensioner, which is possibly this one. I say possibly because I don't actually know. Or we might actually need to slacken the tensioner off for it. I can't find a hole there. So, and there's 2 holes there. So that's not that one. That's a, right, yeah. I don't think actually there is one. Right, feeling that could be. I believe those. There's metalwork goes on there. Brackets, isn't there? Wherever that went. Alright, we'll come back to that. I think next, actually, I need to find out what the torque settings are for these. Left a bit disorganised, but we will just loosen off the cam chain tensioner and you should hear that slap into there. That loosened that off. So now we can nip him back up again. That should all now be nice and tight. The camera's still pointing where it should be. The bolts top and bottom, so the marks have got to be there. So we're good. Alright. I'm still not sure about that. So it don't feel right at all. And we've got this bolt. That doesn't feel right either. So fair enough. We'll come back to all of this. I need to have a look back to find out what we did. So we'll come back to this. I'm now going to go and quickly look up torque settings. Right, so as you can see, we've got the torque wrench out with socket. We're going to start on the inside bolts and we go diagonal patterns. I don't have the specific Honda suggested, but I'm going to go, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a bit awkward. I'm on my own today, so I've got the wrong size nail. Right, so here we go, the right socket. Just bear in mind I have already just nipped these down. So we'll just go with this till she clicks. That's it, double check it. So to there. That's that one. And to there. That's that one. That's that one. That's that one. Now, it does pay to have a good quality torque wrench. When I was working on the railways, I did actually check this one on the torque setter. Right, so there we go, that's them all down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check them all. See, that one need a little bit more. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That's good. 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 So there you go. That's that part done. So next job is to set the valve clearances, because I feel these are just a wee bit on the tight side. I think it's 2 thou, 3 thou. I will just check. I've got the specs on my phone, so I'm just going to go and check that, and then we'll come back and we'll go through those. So we'll do this cylinder first, because this is on compression. Then we'll put the crank through 360 degrees, then we'll do this cylinder. And then that one will be on compression, so we know all the valves will have, will be, well, the cams will be away from the valves, so we should have clearance. Right. Okay, so we've got the numbers up. It's 4 thou, well 5 thou, 6 thou, or 0.12 and 0.16. So it's 0.12 for inlet, 0.16 for exhaust. If you've got the bigger one and the smaller one, the bigger one's always on the exhaust side, obviously because of the heat in the exhaust. But we'll set about those now. We'll just get the spanner and everything ready, and the screwdriver, and set feeler gauges, and we're good to go. Now, I do not have enough hands to do this, so I'm just going to turn the camera off. I think if I can show you anything I will, but if not, I won't. Right, so we've got 6 thou, 4 thou. Not ideal, but that's what we've got. Now 4 thou goes in there, 4 thou goes in there, so 6 thou goes in there. No, 6 thou won't go in there, so that's about right. Let's just check. There's nice. So 6 thou go in there. So I have to, it's difficult trying to keep, right, yeah, 6 thou does go in there. Right, so that's wrong. That's too big a gap. So you have to adjust that one. See what we've got at the front there. Now, I thought these felt tight, to be honest, but clearly they're not. So actually this one is, oh, that's in. It's sliding in there. It's actually quite loose. So I'm going to find an 8 thou. So I've got an 8 thou. If that doesn't go in, which it doesn't, so we've just got this one's a little bit loose, so we'll just nip him up. Okay, that's that done. Sorry I couldn't show it. It's very much, you just have to do it till you just feel it rubbing. So that's that side checked. Oh, sorry. Right, so that's that side checked. We'll now turn the crank again, but we're only going to go 360 degrees this time, so we come back to the TDC mark, which will put this cylinder on compression. Okay, so I've just done the other side off camera. It's exactly the same. As you can see, oh, you won't see, sorry. There's a nice small gap in them, a bit bigger for the exhaust. So that is pretty much the top end done. What I'm going to do now, so I'm going to find my oil can. I'm going to put some more oil. There's, if you can see there's some oil holes there, so I'm going to put oil in the rocker shafts. Just give it a good dousing, because it's not going to see any for a little while. So just grab your oil can here. No, with that one we was using, right? Okay, with this one. So we can just make sure there's some in there. Just make sure there's some in there, a bit around there, just because we can. Do that side from this side, a little bit in there, a little bit in there, a little bit around the valve tops, and we're all good. I put a little bit over cam chain. Always worth checking before you put the lid back on. There's not too much slack in the chain. There's some, not a lot. We'll soon know as soon as we fire it up anyway. But there, that's that. So the rocker box can go on next. We've got a new rocker box cover gasket, so we'll use it. And that'll be that bit sorted out. Then I'm going to hook out the exhaust gaskets, put new exhaust gaskets in. We can get the exhaust back on. Like I say, there's brackets to go on here. This bolts up there. So that'll be the top end done. Sump plug, oil filter needs changing. Then we can put some fresh oil in. We'll run it for a little bit. Now for my drag bikes, the heat cycle, 6 heat cycles is kind of what we do. Progressing the load on the engine for each cycle. So it'll be like ticking over to start with, up until sort of like a 3/4 throttle run. Then after that, drop the oil and change that out, and full tilt everywhere. This isn't a race bike, so we can afford to be a little bit gentler with it. But I'll probably use it we'll fire it up, we'll let it tick over for a few minutes just to get it warm, then we'll let it cool down again. Then it'll probably get road tested up the road after that, just locally. We'll bring it back, rock a cover off again, just go through, check your head bolts, make sure everything's hunky-dory, and then I'll probably use it for work for the week, just to get it bedded in before I hand it over to my boy, which hopefully very soon he'll have passed his test and go, there you go boy, you can go and rag it. If I give it to him now, he'll rag it within half an hour and that'll probably be dead, so hence why I want to run it in before he's passed his test. So there you go. Right, let's crack on. Right, so as you can see, I've just strategically placed some gasket sealer just around the groove where the rubber sits in, just to hold it in place, because these do usually need a little bit of stretching in. So I'll try and do this one-handed. Well, if it doesn't work, then I'll have to abandon the camera, but we will try it. So I'll just work him in at the groove all the way around, like so. See there, you can see it's straight away it's trying to pull out what you probably can't see. And yeah, I'm going to have to put the camera down, so I'll just turn it off and we'll come back once we've got this in position. Right, when you're doing these old bikes, you have to go by sense of feel. If it doesn't feel right, then it isn't right. If it doesn't look right, it isn't right. What we've had, because I know the two brackets over top of the cam holders are different from that side to this side. I had this bolt in this side and it kept tightening down, tightening down, tightening down. It's compressing all the rubbers, the whole thing. And the other side, not the same. So I've just looked at the bolts. This one's only got about 10mm sticking proud of the rubber, as you can see. This bolt that was in here now had 20. So I've just swapped them round. It's just silly little things like that that can catch you out. So I'll just get this one in on the other side, and we'll get the carb rubbers on, brackets on, and we should have this to a point where we can run it within the next, I don't know, couple of hours. Right, I'm going to put the inlet rubber back on. I've hooked the rubber out because, if I can see where I put it, it is absolutely had it. But we have new ones in the gasket set, so that will go in. Might need a little drop of sealer on it, might not. That's just to keep it in the groove, of course. But it looks like it's going to stretch in when I've got two hands. The one that came out, it's where did I put that? It was so flattened off, you'd actually think it was a flat washer on one side. So thought, yeah, might as well change it. It also had evidence of having gasket seal around it, so possibly they have had sealing issues with it in the past. So yeah, it's going to be a two-handed. Here it is. Right, so there's the one that came out. As you can see, it's well squashed off, so yeah, I'll replace that. I'm half tempted to take the other one side off and do that as well, but as we haven't disturbed it, I think I'll probably leave it alone. Okay, so we've got the carb cables attached. Everything's in here ready to go on. That's not right. Now look at this lot. So we've gone by how this was on, so obviously this is wrong. Look at this angle, look at that angle. This is upside down, so I'm going to change that out now. Right, now with the carb rubber corrected, so it's now sitting at the right angle. Before we try and put the carbs in, what I was about to show you is, like, these are absolutely rock hard. So what I want to do is get the heat gun round, go over these, soften them up a bit. This side isn't too bad, but yeah, with them that hard, it's going to make it a hell of a job to get them in. This earbox doesn't move back like many earboxes do. As you can see here, there's nowhere for it to go. So we've got to navigate the carbs past these rubbers, as well as get them into these ones. It'll be tricky getting them out because the rubbers are that hard. So, like I said, we'll try and soften them up, and then we're going to try and get them in. I'm probably going to have to switch to my phone in a bit because the battery on this is almost dead. So there you go, that's all it is. Just make it a bit more supple, make them a bit more supple. You can of course drop them in a bucket of boiling water. We don't have a kettle here, so we can't do that. But it does make a massive difference. What I am wondering now is whether we need to put that plate on that goes in there before we put the carbs in. We can probably get away with it, but once I've got them in, I don't really want to have to take them out. Right, so as you can see, we've got the carbs on. Pretty much got everything on. This is covers back on, gear linkage is on, we filled it up with oil, air filter's been cleaned and back in. I've got a spark plug to put back in the other side. The exhaust is on, obviously that I want to tighten because it's on the gaskets, so as soon as it's warmed up. Yeah, we're pretty much there now. What we need to do is just step back from it and make sure we haven't taken a great leap of faith somewhere, like you do. You don't want to sort of like just run it up, take it around block and find out you got a major engine part sitting on the bench after you removed it. That would never be a good thing. So as you can see, the oil filter's been done. And like I said, we've got oil in it, so we'll just check that. That's settled a bit. That's looking good. Yep, that's looking very good. That'll do. I know I should wipe it off and whatever, but these can be fiddly sodding things to get back in without it wanting to go cross-threaded, which it keeps wanting to do. Which obviously somebody has done in a previous life. There we go. So it's in back in. So this is taking about 2 litres of oil. Unusual for Honda, they normally have the oil quantity on the casing somewhere, and I can't see it on this one anywhere, but there. Not a problem. Yeah, so we've got to put this spark plug in, put the lead back off, and get some fuel in it. Make sure it doesn't drip fuel everywhere. And then I think we are actually good to start. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to let the bike down. I've taken the plug caps off. So what we can do is crank the engine over until the oil light goes out. Obviously when we put it together we slide everything in oil, so to help. Well, I always like to make sure we are pumping oil. There you go, oil light's gone out. So I'm now happy for this to be started. So next job, Put him back on there. Same the other side. So that's pretty much right. So that's pretty much everything. So what I need to do now is give it some fuel. I've just realised when my mate had the carbs apart, he hasn't used the rebuild kits. So let's hope they don't leak fuel, because otherwise they're going to have to come off again. Never mind. These things are sent to try us. Right, we'll go get the tank. We'll check it's got clean fuel in it. Right, as we can see, fuel come out, it's all nice and clean. So we can now fill carbs up. Right, so fuel on. Let's see what happens. Nothing leaking anywhere yet, which is good. I think we're almost ready to try and start it. Okay, let's give it some choke. Lovely thing about old school bikes, no pulling clutches in and stuff like that. It can take a while to get the fuel through when they've been drained and cleaned. So we'll give it another minute and see what happens. I'm just going to see if I hold it up. There you go. Just about idling. Choke is almost off. So far so good. Where's the idle adjuster on these? Under the carb somewhere. I'm just going to lift the idle screw up a little bit. But so far I'm pretty happy. Stuck hold still. Right, idles. If you can see it, the idle adjuster is right here. Wound him up a little bit. Seems to be quite quiet for slug. So I'll go find some light, we'll make sure we've got no oil leaks. Okay, so that concludes the video for today. We've achieved what we set out to do. which is to get the Super Dream back together and up and running. It's now had its first heat cycle. Next time we'll get it down off the bench, probably bring it outside, just run it around the yard a couple of times, and just expand it from there. But so far I'm happy with it. Sump plug I want to change because it looks like it's been clouted at some point. So yeah, I'm expecting that to have a little bit of a weep, but yeah, hopefully we can get it through 5 or 6 heat cycles, pull the head down again, and hopefully that'll be us. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all again soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.